Okay. Well, hi everyone. I am doing really my first kind of podcast, I guess. And so I'm just going to come out and say that. I've done interviews before, but I'm beginning to create some podcasts for the work that I'm doing. And the very first one that I get to do is with Tracy Reinhardt, who is a yoga teacher and a sound technician. So I'm going to ask her to say a little bit about what a sound technician is, um, because that is not a phrase that we often hear in this world. So, and I know that that's something wonderful. It stands for something wonderful. But Tracy has both a yoga studio. She's been a yoga teacher in the Northeast Ohio, Akron, Eastern Cleveland area, whatever area for some time now. And so has a studio, Studio 108, and then also has a place called the Light Wisdom and Wellness Center, right? Do I have that right? And
Yeah.
in Brecksville. And she has this amazing, what it's called the Energy Enhancement System. I'm going to let her tell you about it. It's this incredible offering to Northeast Ohio, and I'm thrilled that she's brought it here. She and her partner Dolores, who's an energy healer. Dolores, anyway,
Oh,
yeah, Alquist, yeah. Um, and so anyway, so I want to welcome you, Tracy, and if you could just share a little bit about you and and then I'm going to ask some more questions about the center and the EES. But I'm so happy to have you here. So
thank you so much. It's really my pleasure. And you know, like you, we've been around a little bit, so we've had some time to try things out and to explore and develop ourselves based on our interests. And so I'm just really lucky to have been able to. I mean, it's a privilege, really, to be able to explore yourself the way that I've been able to in my life. I was a single mom. I taught preschool special ed up in a urban school district on the east side of Cleveland for 23 years. And then I left that and I started teaching yoga full time and started just curating and developing based on my interests and based on my inspirations, where I wanted to go with with my offerings. And the sound technician thing really sources from my undergrad, which was in music therapy. And little did I know when I left that behind a lot of years ago, like in my early 20s, when I just said, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do something different, that it would come back in this way. But at this time, we're really growing in our understanding of sound and frequency and vibration and how those kinds of energetic forces can support our energetic body in healing and upgrading and evolving. And that's just kind of led me into this rabbit hole. And specifically, my practices are in sacred alchemy crystal singing bowls, gong, and mantra. I use
Mhm.
a lot of mantra and the sacred geometry of that sound codex in the mantras, the ancient mantras, through the practices of Kundalini yoga and also through the practices of just all the Easterns. You know, some of them are very universal coming from the East.
Mhm.
Um, and then, yeah, sound healing through the crystal bowls and the gongs and the other instruments that I've been just guided to and through.
Mhm.
So really a pleasure to be able to offer that. And then somehow also I'm running these two businesses, which I don't know if that's me or I just get up and do the things when it comes to that. And then, the lights are on and we have a place to do it.
Yeah. But doing the things you need to do to be able to offer these things to the community. And I know you well enough to know that bringing these gifts and these opportunities to the community and building community, a community of people who are becoming more self-aware and really consciously working to heal and grow themselves, and connect with others, is really important to you. And
It's
yeah.
really important to me. Like one of the things I'm proud of is like I pay the staff.
Mhm.
Like I'm really proud that
Mhm.
the staff the folks who teach here are coming with their gifts and with their talents, and they have a place to share them.
Mhm.
And that when I send out emails, people are looking to see what are these other people doing, and they're coming in to take their classes and to take their workshops, and that has an exchange to it, and that these lovely people can make some money for the work they're doing. Like, I'm super proud of that energy exchange. And then I really feel like everyone who walks in our door is like curated for us. The people that are coming in here really appreciate the work we're doing, and really appreciating having a safe place to have these conversations and to explore these practices and to move themselves forward in that way. I do a lot in the community, complimentary. Like, we offer yoga on the green and Independence here on Fridays all summer long, and I do different things at the Civic Center, when they have events and things. And it just is really, I think, where we're going as a
Mhm.
society, is to kind of look to each other around us for the people that can support us, rather than constantly looking out for some big, rich, and famous somebody to save us, or a political leader. I just think that the answers are kind of right here in our own stew.
Mhm. And you were either responsible for or very involved in the creation of the Elevate Yoga in
Yeah.
Akron, right? Which
Elevate.
drew, like, by the time it was being held down at Lock 3, right? It was drawing how many people? I mean, what's the biggest number of
Yeah.
people who came?
Yeah, I'm really proud of that too. And actually, I use that as an example sometimes,
Yeah.
um, to folks who are with a project, that has meaning. And I started Elevate Akron with Lexi Karras. Lexi and I started it in 2015, and we had a really small group of people that were very instrumental in making that happen. It wasn't me alone. And we also had a whole community in Akron that opened the door. Like, I couldn't even raise my hand to tap on a door and it would open, and they'd be like, yes. It was
Mhm.
just a magical experience, the way that came together, and the way all the studios gathered around. And yeah, we had about 3,000 people every year at Lock 3 for 5 or 6 years. And then fortunately, Kevin Karras took it and is doing more things, more embedded in the community, more just not just festival based, but more integrated in the community. And they
Right.
support a lot of what's going on in Akron. So
Right.
yeah, thank you. It's sweet of you to remember.
Oh yeah, no, that was huge. And what you were able to do, the way you were able to reach community, like, and 3,000 people showing up to do yoga together in Northeast Ohio, like, some people would say, whoever heard of such a thing?
Right,
So,
right, right. You think
yeah.
you were in the Red Rock in Colorado or somewhere. It
Right.
wasn't. Yeah, it really was a beautiful, beautiful community initiative. And I think for me personally, having a way to get messages like that out is, like, I'm just really grateful. Like, it's humbling to
Yeah.
be able to share a heartfelt message with that many people, and to have people just receive it. And we're at this tipping point time in our society and in our culture, where if we don't have opportunities like that, we're really in trouble. So I count on people to walk in the door, I count
Mhm.
on all of us to come together for that. So yeah, like you.
I want to share that as soon as you started saying that, like, your countenance, your energy just shifted,
Yeah,
right? And for those of you who are just listening, like, your whole, I mean, your countenance is, very soft and lovely anyway. But what happened, like, there was this shift in your eyes and everything, and it was just like, oh, like your heart. I just felt your heart just open and just come right through. So I just
yeah.
just want to, yeah.
It's sometimes, I was just last week, someone said, well, I teach this, but I don't speak the way you do. I don't know what to say. And like, I've trained a lot of yoga teachers, and I just feel like when I practice, my practice shows up for me, and my guides show up for me, and
Mm,
my kids shows up for me.
mm,
And if I can just stay aligned to my heart,
mhm.
that's like, it's humbling. It's not me. Like, it's just,
Right.
yeah,
It's coming through. Like, you were making yourself a vessel, right? So that this can come through more and more. right.
Yeah.
And
And sometimes it makes me laugh and I wonder what on earth. But that takes us to the lights in the EE system, right? Because it was really the energy enhancement system is
yeah,
really,
please.
yeah, it's really here in Cleveland ahead of its time. And we've been doing a lot of education and opening of the thought stream around what this technology is intended to do and what it can do for people. It's just a really different lens of how we see healing. Um, it's a really different way of taking responsibility for our own healing.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about it because the people that get it, that come in and spend time there, are getting incredible results in across categories in all different unexpected ways in a really multidimensional way. And the longer we've had it, I was speaking to a client last week who was like asking me, like, is this it? Is this all I'm going to get from it? And I'm like, it's been a year and a half and I'm still like in my growth process because the frequency is so high. It's not just how much can I detox and can the arthritis in my neck be eased? Can I move, can I like heal particular third dimensional ailments? Like those can happen over time. But what's really been exciting for me is the strength of that intuitive stream that comes through and the amount of joy and happiness that I'm able to find in my life that wasn't as easily accessible before.
So you become more habituated to living in this higher vibrational energy, right?
Yeah,
And
that's kind of the idea, but I know I'm there a lot and it can be a big time and money commitment for people. But to even go, at whatever rate you're able to go, you can grow and heal and just develop through it.
I suspect that it's really cumulative, right? That I've just had one experience, which I'll talk about in a minute there, so far yet, but looking forward to the future. Um, and and I can, my guess is that that experience continues. Well, I know it continues to live inside of me in many ways. One of the ways is that whenever I think of it and remember it and bring it back into awareness, it opens that me back up into that field and the presence of that field. And it elevates me in the moment. Uh,
100%.
so that's part of it. But so I think where I want to go with this is I, I, I want to ask you to describe it a little bit so people have a little more sense of it. But I think first I'm just going to say, here's what I say about it. Um, and then kind of ask some questions. Because the thing that I emphasize when I've now started to talk to people, I've started to talk to my clients, I've started to talk to my friends. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to come, you have to go. Like, it is so awesome. So I've been talking to all these people about it. Like, well, what is it? And, and I'll say a little bit about creating a toroidal field and the scalar waves and how that combines the scalar waves and the biophotonic energy. And when they meet, there's this kind of collision that happens that explodes more energy, but that, and people are like, I don't even know if I have a clue about what you just said, but in
And
any
when you're in the room, you can't see it.
right, you're
Like
right,
you can't see it. It's
right,
intangible to the
right,
third dimension. So I know. It's
right,
like
right,
whatever you say.
right. So one of the things that I resort to is saying to people that studies have shown that for our cells need a certain amount of energy to be able to heal, to function healthily and to heal. And that generally speaking, we could say on an average that a person who has some, let's say, chronic illness, I'm going to guess, their energy, the amount of energy their cells may have, is about 20 nanometers second, I think, if that's how we discuss that. Um, 20 nanometers, that's very small, on one level. But to be able to actually heal, the cell needs to have access to 70 to 90 nanometers a second. And that what the system does, because of these things that I just barely mentioned, is that it makes more energy available. So what happens is that people's cells begin to access that energy in that space. Is that accurate? Is that?
It is. And you've got like that continuum. The
Mhm.
technology holds at about 100
It does. Okay.
and it's not going to move. And
Hmm.
the law of physics that it's really operating on is one of entrainment.
Yeah.
So like if you have your ice cold mug and you pour your warm root beer in, you know
Hmm.
the root beer is going to get colder and the mug is going to get warmer. They like compromise to entrain and meet like in the middle there, cold to warm, sort of like, yeah. But in this case, the technology holds at that 100 millivolt nanovolt kind of spot. And then your cells are all vibrating and they are going to it necessitates, like the law of physics says, you have to vibrate faster to get up to this higher. So when they say it charges your cells, that's what they're referring to. It's bringing your cells up to a higher frequency of vibration, which is more conducive to rest and digest, health and heal. It also means that your cells are going to expel anything that is of a lower frequency. So the toxins are going to expel. And the blood tests show that before your session versus after your session, your blood has a significant greater number of toxins in it after the session because your body has like, I got to detox this. I got to get this out because I need to like go up here. This is where the field is wanting me to go. So the detox after your session in the lights is really important. The other thing that happens in this high frequency energy field, you've got all of like, you know that there's color therapy now. You've got red light therapy, blue light. Everybody's using these light therapies. These screens are emitting this biophoton light energy and it's meeting in the center and it's part of what's creating the toroidal field along with the scalar energy that's being emitted by the machines. And so that color frequency energy is also going through your energy form all the way up your chakra line and kind of bringing things into a higher balance. And then also on the screens are, well, they run in a Fibonacci sequence. So there's that sacred geometry. Also, there are encoded like affirmations for I am healthy and well. Like, so there's affirmation and that high frequency message that you're coming in. So your system is kind of being, I don't want to say bombarded because that sounds harsh. And really your experience is very relaxing.
It's immersed, isn't it?
But it's an immersion. Yeah, immersion's a great word. But it downregulates your nervous system. So many people say to us, I've never been that relaxed. And that was really my first reaction. Like I was like, oh, I'm relaxing. Oh, I'm still relaxing. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Like, bye-bye. I am so relaxed. So your system downregulates, your system detoxes, and it's really anti-inflammatory. And when you think of the root cause of so many diseases and disruptions in our health, it's inflammation. And so you get a really significant anti-inflammatory. And that's why, like, it helps my arthritis. It helps with aches and pains. It helps with muscle repair. If you're an athlete, it's going to help your recovery. If you had surgery, it's going to help your recovery. Like those kinds of basic foundational things are happening, including pH levels, like bringing your body back to an alkaline state rather than an acidic state. So all of these things, oxygenating your blood, all of these really basic foundational health and wellness markers that we have are getting, kind of shifted to their optimal. And none of this heals you, but it puts your body in an optimal place to heal itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think is really beautiful about it, because we don't need to be prescriptive about it. There's nothing that anyone programs to say, okay, this is for a broken leg, or this is for anxiety, or this is for, like, it's a well-being tool. You lay in there, your body will prioritize and will begin to move into its healing functions in the way that it is intuitive and intelligently intended to.
one of the quotes that I heard about this, to help describe what you're saying is that I think the genius that created this body can heal this body. And when I heard that, it's like, that must be true. It's almost like a tautology. It must be true. If there, a genius that can create the phenomenon of what we experience as these bodies and in these bodies, like if you can create it, then yes, you can heal it. And that wisdom is within.
That wisdom is within, and that wisdom is organically. People were like, oh, I don't believe in that. Well, gravity holds you on the planet, whether you believe in it or not. Your cell phone works whether you believe in it or not. Like some of these things are just laws of physics, and some of us don't believe in it because we weren't taught that. We weren't exposed to it. We haven't learned this way. And so when I say that we're kind of re-educating and shifting how we look at health and well-being and shifting what we expect, people want to come in and they want a 1 hour session and they're cured. And it's like, it took you a long time to get out of balance. It's going to take you a while to get back in balance. You probably will have to maintain your good health a bit because that's what we have to do. It's much more than just laying there. You're going to want to look at your eating habits, look at your thought patterns. When I talk to people and they're like, I don't think it'll work. It's like, it probably won't. Look at your belief patterns.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
one of the, I think many of the people who've experienced what I do have been through that experience of not knowing how tapping works or not even believing that it's going to work, but they feel better, right? So they've, I think people have very much been through that in terms of a healing experience. One of the reasons why I really wanted to do this with you is to let people know more about it and know more about the retreat that I'm going to be participating in with you on Sunday, April 6th. Um, but I am excited personally about and professionally about what being in this environment can do to help when with the work that we're already doing, this more psychological work, more psychoenergetic work, to help us heal from old traumas or the effects of traumas, right? The effects of traumas of things like creating behavior patterns and habits that are self-sabotaging, having limiting beliefs that hold us back and ways we think about ourselves, having a relationship within ourselves that's conflictual and torn, right, and fragmented. And so that's, healing all of that and helping people to expand their conscious awareness and kind of free all that life force energy, you'd be able to do that, to feel more alive, to feel more aligned with life, right? Is a huge part of what I'm about. And to find that there's this technology that can actually support that and the work that we're doing and support it while we're doing that work, I have to say, I'm absolutely thrilled to be in the position to discover what that's going to do. You know,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
own experience when I've been in the energy once for 2 hours. And I had gone in not knowing that I was going to do this. So Tracy and I were going to have a little conversation about, just about it. I'm thinking and about possibilities because as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and that I had not slept that night before. I was not really feeling all that well, and I was frankly a little like agitated, grouchy on the inside. And I went into the space and was there for 2 hours and relaxing, meditating, doing some of the breathing exercises that I encourage people to do. And I may have, as I recall now, I may have done some of the emotional first aid things just to, as things came up, and to let them go. I was really trying to be open and present with what is or what was at the moment. And I could, kind of to your point, when you said this, it reminded me how I kept having this experience of feeling like, oh, okay, now I'm this relaxed. And then I'd be like, oh, wait, now I'm this relaxed. And now I'm and I did, just like you said, I kept having that experience of becoming more and more and more and more relaxed. So by the end of 2 hours, I came out and my body, I felt so, I don't know, relaxed and open and free in my body. It just felt like I just felt so good. And my energy was wonderful. My mood was, you know, I don't know, it's just great. Like I was just really elevated. I was really excited about all the possibilities. It had, it just had this really, sorry about my dog barking. If anybody can hear her barking in the background, something just caught her attention. Um, it had much more of an effect than I would have anticipated that it would have. And so I want everybody who listens to this and everybody who knows what I do to realize we're navigating here, that what's possible here for you is something that is truly a gift. It is truly, I absolutely believe it can be truly life-changing. And I have heard some stories from Tracy, as we've talked more about this, of people who, not just the physical things, which, like I like, Bobby Kennedy saying, if people who are sick, they have one dream, right? People who are well have, unlimited dreams, right? So, and that's true. I mean, that really touches me to say that. And so all of the people who are coming in with physical challenges, um, of all sorts, my understanding is can really benefit from this. So there's that, but there's also the emotional piece of it and how people can heal emotionally through being in that space. And one of the things, if you could just take just a couple of minutes, um, and talk about some of the experiences that you've known of, there with people who might be experiencing some more effects of past trauma in their life and what they've experienced. I would
Yeah,
love.
we've had quite a number of people talk about how they're able to sleep
Oh,
for the
that's
first
such a
time.
gosh, yeah.
And that one is usually one of the first hits. It's
Mm-hmm.
usually an early notice. I'll say that, 2 hours is a good minimum session amount
Mm-hmm.
because you need time for your body to do the entrainment. We do
Mm-hmm.
sell a 1 hour session. You can try it for 1 hour. That's fine. Honestly, your first visit is free and that's a 2 hour first visit. So, you might want to just plan for 2 hours to come in the first time and give it the full time. But that I've been sleeping better happens within just a couple sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the data is showing about 9 to 12 hours before people start really seeing relief from their more major complaints. And to be honest, we have some people with more chronic long-term illness issues that have been a few months and are still kind of slowly working their way through that. They'll often notice like little secondary alleviations before it starts to narrow into really their main complaint. But folks with PTSD, um, not just more comfort and more sleep, which starts rolling into how you feel emotionally and how your brain's able to just rebalance your chemicals during the night. But that leading to that, I'm happier, I'm playing on the floor with my kids again, those things that really just like warm your heart. Like that's why we're doing it. We just want people to feel better. And we want to be able to help a lot of people. There are some energy techniques or energy technologies that one person sits in this thing. This is a room with 12 people. You're further apart than you are on an airplane or in a library. You've got space, but there we have 12 lazy boy chairs. We have a couple lift chairs to help folks who can't get up and down. So we can accommodate people and really help a lot of people. But yeah, PTSD, anxiety, people saying that my mind is finally slowed down. I'm not as distracted. I'm not as anxious. I'm not as itchy in my brain, which I think might have a little bit of the inflammation thing too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, it's super interesting to see those kinds of things. And what has been kind of fun and problematic actually is that the staff, the biophoton in the scalar field is in the room, but the biophoton energy in the scalar field is in the room, but the scalar wave is through, makes much bigger imprint and a bigger footprint around the building. And the people that work the front desk, they get happy and they get off to other things that they've been dreaming about. They actually don't want to, they don't want to work at our front desk forever. So they'll work at the front desk and they'll start getting just like this.
Oh, that's
It starts
fabulous.
improving and they're just like, and then, oh, I got this great job offer. I'm like, of course you did. So really, really, that's fun. That's fun. And that speaks to some of these nuances that we're just not used to looking at or looking for or appreciating. But those are the things that make, when my creative ideas flow through and I'm in a good mood and I have more patience with my kids and more patience with my tasks, that's what makes my life good. Those are really important things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know we could keep talking for a long time, and there are lots more questions that I'd like to ask. So maybe we'll do this again.
I'd love that.
But before we go, I'd like to hear more about this retreat. I'd like people to know about the retreat that you're offering.
Absolutely. We are spending the day at the Energy Enhancement System. The center is called the Light, Wisdom, and Wellness from 9 to 5 on Sunday, April 6th. We are going to have a number of modalities, including Dr. Holly, who's going to do some tapping and energy psychology, the energy first aid kit kinds of things. We have some somatic breath work, a channeler. I'll be playing the Sacred Alchemy crystal singing bowls in the room, and access bars, lunch, a neighborhood walk. So a full day. You'll even get to soak your feet at the end of the day, which is part of the detox that we recommend. So the whole encapsulated day, really nicely priced for people. It's going to be a really lovely package.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. I can't even begin to tell you. And I think 8 hours of being in that space and being in that energy
Yeah,
would have to have an effect that just continues, in
yeah,
numbers of different ways. But I don't think I can emphasize enough how beautiful the energy is in the space,
yeah.
and how much it can do for you. And I
You
think-
just sit down there and you set your intention and you open yourself up
right.
and,
hmm So we've been talking a little bit about the entrainment and and the field and how the field it creates itself, right? Or it's there and we lift up into that field. And we're also with all these other people who have set their intention to heal and grow, relax, in very similar kinds of ways. And so we are all lifting up into this field together, creating this community field, which we all know is very healing and powerful. And so the opportunity for this is for all of us to really, really enhance our lives by
100%.
retreat
And the
is
lives of those we care about. Like when we heal ourselves, we heal our family, we heal our lineage, we heal our community. Yeah, it's really important work.
right. We shift our energy and we shift what we bring to everybody else. They pick it up. They then reverberate it to others, right?
We always chuckle because there's a pizza shop next door.
hmm
They close for vacation like 3 times a year now. And we're like, thanks. Enjoy the good vibes. It's in the adjacent building. So I'm like, their business is doing really well.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. Well, it's been lovely talking with you, Tracy, again. And I just am so thankful that you are here and that you have done this. You've done everything that you have done in this area and brought all the light, brought all the love you've brought, and continue to devote yourself to helping our community heal and grow and come together. Oh, thank
Thank you.
you.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. It's a blessing to be here with you.
Oh, good. Blessings to be with you too. All right. Okay.